Coming up on the Paddock today, we're looking at this Kobbie Mainoo to Real Madrid rumour, because surely that's all it is, a rumour, plus some outgoings, which could be a little bit more likely. Let's get into it. Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and the weather is absolutely delightful, so make sure you have a nice barbecue this afternoon. Loads of stories to get through, so we'll crack on. Before we do that though, make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. We want to get to 750,000 subscribers by the end of the season, and with your support, yes, we can get there. There's a couple of transfer stories doing the rounds, but I want to get stuck into the main one that sort of set alarm bells ringing this morning when I saw it, and this is the reports of Real Madrid being interested or trying to sign Kobbie Mainoo. I think the Express are running with it. I think I've seen it elsewhere as well. I think United Peoples have had it on their website, one or two others as well. And this seems to have come from a publication somewhere in Spain, a little bit of mischief making perhaps. Don Diario, I think it's called, and then, like I say, a couple of papers and websites have picked up on it. The gist of the story is, with the likes of Luka Modric and Toni Kroos leaving the Bernabeu in the summer, they're looking at Kobbie Mainoo as a potential replacement for those players, a player that they're looking at as you know, a future or current world superstar, depending on your point of view. I think he's amazing, and I'm sure you agree. And Real Madrid are looking at trying to bring him or take him to Madrid. Now, I just don't see this happening for a multitude of reasons. For starters, Kobbie Mainoo, I think he signed a deal that's going to keep him at the club for at least the next few years. He signed a deal last season. There's already talk of him signing an extension that or improved terms on that, because when he signed it, he wasn't a first-team player. Now he is. Now he's essential to Manchester United. So there's talk of him signing a new deal, and he's already under contract. Secondly, he seems settled at Manchester United. There's no indication whatsoever that the Stockport-born youngster is looking at a move to Madrid at the tender age of 18 as well. He's only a kid. There's no sort of connections there. There's no reason to believe, oh, well, he's always fancied Madrid, or he comes from Madrid, or he'll want to go to Madrid. Nothing at all. I mean, he's still learning his craft. He's only just got into the Manchester United team a few months ago. He's only just recently got into the England team a few months ago. He got into the United team a few weeks ago. He got into the England team. Is he going to say, right, that's it now, I've done enough at United, I've achieved my goals of helping us to get 6th place, I'm going to go to the Bernabeu? I just don't see it happening whatsoever. And now Real Madrid, obviously they'll be interested in all the best players. They always are. They go out and they sign the best players in the world. That's what they do. They've done it here with us before. When they signed Cristiano Ronaldo, they've signed the likes of Gareth Bale, of course, when he was one of the best players in the world. Jude Bellingham from Dortmund more recently, one of the best players on the planet. They got him. But there's a difference between signing Ronaldo from United and signing Kobbie Mainoo from United. Ronaldo wanted to go to Madrid. He'd been at United for whatever it was, 5 or 6 years, and he was determined to make that move happen, and Real Madrid came in with a world record fee. Gareth Bale, of course, at Spurs, he was never going to win lots of trophies at Spurs. It was inevitable that he was eventually going to move on. And again, he played for Spurs for several seasons and then moved on when he was in his 20s. Kobbie Mainoo, who's Manchester born and bred, he's been at the club since he was a kid. He's only 18 years old. Is he going to go right now? I don't see it. Would United sell him? No. Manchester United are not going to sell Kobbie Mainoo. There's zero chance of that happening. I don't like to be ITK or put my neck on the line, but I don't need to be ITK to tell you that. United are not going to sell Kobbie Mainoo to Real Madrid. Certainly not anytime soon. Maybe in about 10 years, that might be moving things. You know what? I've spent a decade in Manchester. I wouldn't mind getting away from this sunny weather and going to somewhere a bit colder like Madrid. Potentially. But right now, there's no chance of that happening. I think it's just a little bit of speculation, because people are putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 417. There's no, just because they're going to lose some key players. They do go out and they buy the best players. Kobbie Mainoo is one of the most spoken about youngsters in world football, so let's say that Real Madrid are going to go for him. Won't happen. There's no way Manchester United sell him. There's no indication the player wants to go. And there's no indication that Real Madrid are even in for him. There's no concrete evidence. We've just got one publication that's been picked up by a few other newspapers and websites as well, with a little bit of mischief making. Now, there's also these rumours and reports that Alejandro Garnacho is on Real Madrid's radar. That one seems more likely. Certainly not now. I don't think Garnacho will go this summer, but I could see that happening maybe in the future or in a few years' time, because Garnacho, he's not Mancunian. That doesn't mean that he has to leave Manchester, but you wouldn't be surprised if eventually he wanted to move on. You know, he's come to Manchester United. He might want to move on from Manchester United one day. That makes sense. I don't think it'll happen anytime soon, but that kind of makes sense. Kobbie Mainoo going this summer, or going anytime soon, to Real Madrid makes zero sense whatsoever, and I just don't see it happening. Get involved in the chat and the comments. I mean, it's a bit of a non-starter, that, for me. A little bit of, let's put Kobbie Mainoo in a headline type scenario from some of the papers. Works as well, because we're stood here talking about it, but we have to talk about what's being reported. That's been reported, and I'm telling you right now, it ain't going to happen. If Steve was here doing his transfer review, he'd give that a big fat 0. I'm confident of that one. On more likely transfer stories, United have been linked with Mikayil Faye. This is the kid from Barcelona. I say more likely, it's only a little bit more likely. I think he's a Senegalese defender playing for the Barcelona second team. I think he played in third tier Spanish football. He's been linked with United a few times. I think the Evening News have picked up on this one or two other newspapers. He's got something ridiculous in his buyout clause. His buyout clause is about 200 million or something stupid. I can't remember the exact figure, but it's one of those where you go, what, really? It's like, remember Hulk? Remember when Hulk had a buyout clause back in the day, like 150 million, when before that was a thing? Yeah, it's one of those ones. Good defender. Also, though, the reports indicate that Barcelona aren't looking to sell him anytime soon, and his buyout clause is ridiculous. So how that one works, I'm not so sure. Maybe there's a deal there where Barcelona, because they keep pulling these levers, don't they? Financially, they're always a bit ropey. They might go, actually, if we can get some money for a player that isn't playing for us right now, we'll take it. But we'll have to wait and see. It's one to keep an eye on. Obviously doing very well as a youngster. We haven't seen a lot of him. Obviously, like I say, he's been playing for the Barcelona second team. But there has been a few reports that United have been scouting him. I mean, there was sort of talk when Jay Motty flew over to Spain a few months ago that was one of the reasons he went there. I don't think there's anything in that. I think Jay Motty's leaving, so I don't think his opinion on transfers is going to be listened to by anyone now. But we'll have to wait and see if anything does come of that. On outgoings, Raphael Varane, talking about defenders. There's reports that he could be going to Saudi Arabia in the summer. Seen this in a few papers. I think the Evening News again. I think that one or two others as well are mentioning the fact that Raphael Varane could be leaving Manchester United in the summer. I think he's played about 91 games. Forgive me if I'm getting that wrong. I read the report. I think it was 91 games since he came to United in 2021. It's not a lot of that, is it? For a centre-back who's first choice over 3 years to not reach 100 games, it is worrying. And we know that Raphael Varane is a very, very talented defender, but he's injured quite a lot. Now, this season, actually, I don't think he's been injured as much as he had previous seasons, but he's still been injured. He's still not available. He wasn't available at the weekend, was he? And Willy Camboire came in and did a very, very good job as well, I hasten to add. So, I mean, it's weird because I like Varane. And if he's fit, I'd start him. But he just can't get fit and he can't get a consistent run in the team. And there was even a point earlier on in the season when he was fit and Johnny Evans was being preferred to him. I don't know quite the scenario reasons behind that, whether he found out the manager, whether the manager was just sort of looking at different sort of styles, different options for the I think it was a game against City, wasn't it, here in the Premier League where he preferred Johnny Evans. Whatever the reasons are, Raphael Varane hasn't had a decent run in the side. I think for centre-backs, you need them to play week in, week out. It isn't like wingers, sometimes you might rotate or whatever, even midfielders. For your centre-backs, you want a settled centre-back pairing, and you can't really have that with Raphael Varane. And it pains me to say it, because he's a very, very talented defender. And when we got him, I was buzzing. I remember when he was announced before the Leeds game here on the pitch at Old Trafford. It was such a great feeling now, such a great day that. We always forget. They announced Varane. He came on the pitch, everyone was buzzing. We battered Leeds 5-1. Happy days. It's pretty much been downhill since then. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Varane. It looks like he probably will move on. He can get a move to Saudi where he makes a load of money. Let's not forget, he's literally won the lot. He's won, 3 La Ligas, 4 Champions Leagues, the World Cup. I mean, his trophy cabinet is absolutely full to the brim. So if he wants to spend the twilight of his career earning a few quid, who could blame him? I think Raphael Varane will always be respected if he does move in the summer by United fans. He's a player that when he did play, gave his all. He's always one who's G'ing the crowd up. I think he's very popular as well. Very talented, but just injuries, man. Injuries have done for him. I'm going to mention one article quickly, right? Because it's nonsensical. And I just want to mention it. Oliver Holt wrote for, I think, the Mail Plus, and he compared Quansah's performance at the weekend for Liverpool to Roy Keane's in the Stade d'Alpe in Turin. He said it was that good, right? Now, if you've never seen Roy Keane's performance in Turin when Manchester United won the Champions League in 1999, it was in the semi-final second leg. It's always looked at as one of the sort of greatest performances ever by any player. It's up there with Brian Robson against Barcelona in 1984. It's on a pedestal where you go, that's the one of the greatest performances you will ever see. Now, Quansah helped United get back into the game with that pass that Bruno Fernandes got onto and scored a goal. All the ratings I saw for him gave him like 5, 4, 6 out of 10. Why Oliver Holt has decided to say that Quansah's performance is one of the greatest performances by any player ever is absolutely beyond me. And that just goes to show, well, actually, I'll tell you why it's done it. It goes to show, you put something ludicrous in a headline, Manchester United, people start talking about it like we're doing now. And I think that's what's happening, to bring it back to the start, with Kobbie Mainoo's link to Real Madrid. So I'm going to leave it there. Make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. I've been Jay Motty, outside a very cold and wet and windy Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.